It's official, folks. It is official. The mainstream media, man, really wants to downplay Tren de Aragua, Venezuelan prison gang taking over U.S. cities. They really want to downplay that to attack President Trump. These people really don't care about you being safe. They really don't, folks. They really want your demise. The mainstream media, folks, they still want Kamala Harris in that White House, even though it's because of her that Tren de Aragua has taken over U.S. cities, man. They're growing. They're out here in Texas, folks. And we've actually talked about the situation in Colorado, folks, where that gang took over a couple of apartment complexes and actually started charging rent to the residents. That gang does not own that property, folks. They were brought in by Kamala Harris. But folks, we need to talk about J.D. Vance, because J.D. Vance went on with ABC. Yeah, you know, ABC Not News, you know, the ones that actually read the debate between Trump and Comrade Kamala. Well, he set her straight, folks, because this woman, so disgusting, man, going on the attack of Trump, and she doesn't care one bit about these illegal aliens, and violent illegal aliens at that, folks. This is astonishing, man. Every American should be furious after watching this clip we're going to watch, folks, because it's on video, man. It's on video. They took over apartment complexes. Now, Trump has said they're taking over cities. I agree with that. And the mainstream media gets triggered by that. Let's go and get into it, guys. Here we go. Right here. J.D. Vance takes ABC anchor to task for downplaying Aurora, Colorado's Tren de Aragua problem by saying only a handful of apartment complexes were taken over by the gang. And that's because Trump said they're taking over cities. And she's perfectly okay with this gang taking over a handful of apartment complexes, folks. She doesn't seem to be concerned about that whatsoever. That's a major problem right there, folks. That is the bigger problem. And her name is Martha Raddatz. Folks, before we get into that, because President Trump now, he says that he will invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to get rid of this gang. Listen in.
At the hands of migrants who should never have been allowed into our country, I'm announcing today that upon taking office, we will have an Operation Aurora at the federal level. To expedite the removals of these savage gangs, and I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. Think of that. 1798. This was put there. 1798. That's a long time ago, right? To target and dismantle every migrant criminal network operating on American soil.
Yeah. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, from what I actually heard, the Alien Enemies Act has only been used like 3 times. This will be the 4th. But let's go ahead, guys, and play this clip right here, because J.D. Vance got her, man. Let's roll it.
But I want to. We played some other comments about migrants, including in Aurora, in Colorado, where Trump said the city had been invaded and conquered by Venezuelan gangs. The Republican mayor of the city said flatly the city and state have not been taken over or invaded or occupied by migrant gangs. So do you support Donald Trump making those claims that the Republican mayor says were grossly exaggerated and have hurt the city's identity and sense of safety? I understand what you're saying, that some people left behind, but he's making these statements that the mayor is flat out disputing.
Well, Martha, you just said the mayor said they were exaggerated.
Grossly
that
exaggerated.
Means that there's got to be some that means there's got to be some element of truth here. And of course, President Trump was actually in Aurora, Colorado, talking to people on the ground. And what we're hearing, of course, Martha, is that people are terrified by what has happened with some of these Venezuelan gangs.
Senator Vance, I'm going to stop you because I know exactly what happened.
Martha.
I'm going to stop you. The incidents were limited to a handful of apartment complexes, and the mayor said our dedicated police officers have acted on those concerns. A handful of problems.
And she has no problem with that, guys. She has zero problem with that. Think about what she just said, folks.
Only, Martha, do you hear yourself? Only a handful of apartment complexes in America were taken over by Venezuelan gangs, and Donald Trump is the problem and not Kamala Harris's open border. Americans are so fed up with what's going on, and they have every right to be. And I really find this exchange, Martha, sort of interesting because you seem to be more focused with nitpicking everything that Donald Trump has said rather than acknowledging that apartment complexes in the United States of America are being taken over by violent gangs. I worry so much more about that problem than anything else here. We've got to get American communities in a safe space again. And unfortunately, when you let people in by the millions, most of whom are unvetted, most of whom you don't know who they really are, you're going to have problems like this. Kamala Harris, 94 executive orders that undid Donald Trump's successful border policies. We knew this stuff would happen. They bragged about opening the border, and now we have the consequences, and we're living with it. We can do so much better, but frankly, we're not going to do better, Martha, unless Donald Trump calls this stuff out. I'm glad that he did.
Okay, let's just end that with they did not invade or take over the city, as Donald Trump said.
Wow.
I want to move on to
just a few apartment complexes, no big deal.
A few apartment complexes that the mayor did not seem was invading the entire city. But
boy, she's defending these criminal, illegal aliens, folks. She doesn't give a damn about Americans, man. She does not care. That is crazy. I can't believe I just heard that, folks. I cannot believe I just heard that. It's just a few apartment complexes, right? This is astonishing, man. This is what we actually saw right here, man. I mean, this is what she's perfectly okay with, man. Now, I don't know where he got that gun from, but he has a gun right there. They're raiding apartments, and apartments complexes have what? I don't know, 500-700 people probably. They took over 2. So that could have been like what? 1,700 people affected. And you got another one with a gun there too. Wow, guys, these people in the media, folks, they hate Trump so much they're willing to let you suffer. Yes, they hate Trump that much, folks. They want you to suffer. They're perfectly okay with you suffering as long as Trump doesn't get the White House, folks. And they're pushing a person that has caused these illegal criminal aliens to come into this country, folks. They're everywhere, man. I never heard of Tren de Aragua before, up until, a few months ago. I've heard of MS-13. They seem to be on a whole nother level, folks, from MS-13. This is insane. And ABC, man, they should come out and issue an apology for this. They're defending these scumbags right here who are definitely taking over your cities. When I see something like that, yeah, that's a takeover there, folks. And this is going to continue to happen if Kamala Harris actually gets into the White House. That's why I said, man, these Republicans, man, they definitely should have impeached Joe Biden. They definitely should have. Because this is his fault. This is Kamala Harris's fault too. She was put in charge of that border and did nothing. What you just saw in that video, folks, is her fault. That's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and White Network fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And we'll catch you next time.